Hi guys, this is Omega Supreme, Tim from the Facebook, YouTube channel thing. um, on Saturday just gone, Dave put, I think it might have been Stuart, about a 10 favourite bots. I didn't quite get around to doing it, but I had an idea about how I could do it slightly differently. And I was thinking back to all the Transformers that I did have. So these are ones that I was, had as a child or early teens, and then, like most people, they got chucked out. Car boot sales. My mum sold them, gave them away to a friend, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so the theme I'm kind of going for is the 10 that got away. So the 10 bots that you really liked growing up, that you had, that you wish you still had. So in no particular order, I'll add pictures and stuff to this so you can see some of the ones, because some of them a bit obscure. I don't know. So in no particular order, the first one I've got down is Gut Cruncher, and he's an action master, and it's a Decepticon action master, and action masters themselves were an odd line, quite, I guess, towards the end of Generation 1. So they didn't transform, which is really odd. They were basically like, the figures themselves say Soundwave, which is, I think, the first one that I got. He didn't transform. He's just in robot mode. So they're a bit like they're about. I don't know why I'm doing that. they're a bit bigger than a GI Joe figure. So it's that type of thing. So they've got articulation in their legs, and their knees bend, and their arms can move forward and back, and their arms can move. And they came with almost like a target master. So Soundwave, for example, came with a bat that transformed into a gun. So they had their own gun and a gun that went onto the target master thing. Devastator had like a scorpion that then transformed into a gun, and other ones then came with vehicles, play sets. And this was Gut Cruncher was one of the ones that came with a vehicle. Just kind of going back to Action Masters, I think one of the things that drew me to them is it was like all the G1 characters that I never got when I was a bit younger. And, you've got to remember back, there wasn't eBay, there wasn't a secondary market for toys. So you couldn't, there wasn't, after they were released and they run out, they didn't have them in your toy shop, that was it. There weren't online toy shops, you couldn't get them anywhere else, that was it. So when I first saw Action Master Soundwave in my local toy store, I grabbed him, got him, and then every time I went in, I grabbed another one. I got Devastator, I got Blaster, Optimus Prime, all, literally got the whole lot, and that whole collection got wiped out. But Gut Cruncher was one of my favourites. He had one of the things I think I liked about him. He had on his stats. He had what was it? Rank of 10. So he was he was level with Megatron. So I was like, I love that. And he came with this really cool jet, which you could sit him into. You could transform that jet. So the back part of it came out, and that became like a little tank that you could sit a figure in. And then the rest of it kind of, a nose cone came out, and that became like a small little jet, almost like a drone. And the rest of it came like a base, so you could position people in little behind the guns and things. Could be like a little base that you could get people out of. Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's really good figure. But there was loads of decent ones in there. Optimus Prime had his own truck, which transformed into a base. Megatron had this tank, which then transformed into a base and a little spaceship. I think Wheeljack had this racing car, which then transformed into a jet. There was loads. Right, I'll move on because otherwise this is going to be too long. Next one is Target Master Slug Slinger. So I'll put a picture of him up again. So, and he was just this really cool jet. And what I really liked about him was the head sculpt on him was really cool, and he actually had a fair bit of articulation for a Generation 1 figure. He was just a really good looking figure, both in robot mode and in jet mode. Really liked him. Next one I've got down is Scorponok. So the Generation 1 figure with the headmaster. I remember I got him from Christmas one year, and I was so excited to get him. I knew he was under the tree, and I just opened it all up, and just spent the time, putting all the little bits on, all the stickers and things, messing about with the ramp and the and everything, and then you put his head in, and all the stats show underneath, so it's strength and skill, intelligence, all that type of stuff shows up. It's just brilliant, brilliant character, and also brilliant toy in terms of playability, all the different things that you could do with him. I guess the only downside was that he could have, if he was to scale, he would have been a lot bigger, but that's just nitpicking. Another one I've got in here is Shrapnel. So again, this one's Insecticon. So this was probably my first Transformer. Memories from it, I just remember taking into school all the time. I've got him since, again, as a reissue, but one of the things that I had on him is I'd broken the sort of like the antennas on him in bug mode, and one of them snapped, and they were really worn, so you could see the plastic underneath it start to come through. But it was just like, even though it was all beat up, it was just such a good figure to play with, and it was really easy to transform, and the detail on it was really good. You had the little chest bit which opened up. Yeah, really cool. I love that figure. I'm trying to think of other ones that I've got on here. Another slightly obscure one is I really was into collecting all the Micromasters. I don't know if I realised till afterwards. I'm sure I can't remember doing it, but all the little bases joined up. I can't remember ever doing that as a kid, joining all the different small little bases. They had lots of little ones which just came with one individual figure, and they were like 10 quid, say, and then you could join it up with another one. And I'm not sure if I ever did that, but one of my favourite ones was this rocket base, and this Autobot rocket base, and it was absolutely huge. So literally this huge base on wheels, would look like tank treads, this huge missile launcher rocket on it, and then you could transform it into this like a proper base, and the rocket would kind of split in half, and it came with a couple of figures, I think, as well. But just, what was really cool about the Micromasters, all the little figures, you had loads of play sets, because the little figures were so small that the play sets didn't have to be massive for them, unlike, like I said, Scorponok and all the other ones. So I guess it's the cost of plastic. But even the little Micromasters, there was decent. There's a little bit of articulation. I mean, their hands and stuff can move. They're easy to transform. You still had a fair amount of detail on them. But there was some other ones like Skystalker, which is the Decepticon one, which was like a jet, and that kind of split up again into various different jets and into a base. I think there was also like a few combiners as well that you had with the Micromasters as well. I recently picked up a few of I think it's the race car team and the airstrike team, Decepticon, pardon me, airstrike team, when I went to AA, just because I've been reading some of the classics IDW, the classics ones where they had the Micromaster that came into it with the Pretenders and stuff like that. So I was really into that. Probably one of the other ones, my favourites would probably be Sideswipe, so the Generation 1 figure. But just because he was a really cool Lamborghini, he's really fast car. He looked cool in robot mode. He had a fair bit of articulation in his arms and stuff. And I just think his face sculpt was really cool. I also had Sunstreaker, but I think Sideswipe was probably my favourite. I remember him being in some decent battles with Scorponok. Scorponok got hold of him and threw him about a little bit. Unfortunately, I think he didn't make it. I think he ended up getting killed by Scorponok, unfortunately. But I have since got another one, kind of a junker one. I've also got the MP Sideswipe, well, kind of the knockoff one anyway. Other ones I've put on here is Windcharger, which again was one of the first ones that I got. It was a really cool mini bot. Nice and quick to transform, but really cool little car mode with the big wheels sticking out of the sports car. And I quite like the face sculpt to him. It was just kind of moulded onto his upper part of his chest. But there's some quite cool little mini bots. I remember Cosmos being pretty cool. Sea Spray, Gears. I really like Gears, which I've just got the IDW one that's just come out. Another one I've put down here, which isn't necessarily one bot, but a collection, is the Dinobots, which I had. So I didn't have Swoop, but I had Sludge, Slag, and Snarl. My brother had Grimlock, so I can't count him in. But yeah, I had those three, and just really, really like the figures again. It's about the detail on them, the head sculpt, and they were just, I think they're pretty decent for their time. I think, I think all of them looked pretty decent in both modes. With some toys you get, even generation ones, you can say, oh, they looked all right in this mode, but not in the other one. But I think with those three, they looked really good in both the modes. What other one? Oh yeah, I've got on here Action Master Optimus Prime. I've already mentioned it, really, but so he was really cool. He came with this basically big red truck, so you could sit him in the truck, and the kind of exhaust that came up the side where he could use those as guns. He did have his own guns as well, which fitted on the truck. The truck then kind of like folded out on itself and became this kind of really cool jet. And then the trailer end become like an armoured base with all these guns that you could put on the side, and you could actually stand up the figures behind it as well. So you could have like 3 or 4 figures stood up on it, and you had little pegs I'm sure you had little pegs where you could actually stand them up on it. But I really remember that particular Action Master set along with the Gut Cruncher one, because I remember having it set up in my room. So I had, say you've got your bed in the middle, and then on one side I had a bedside cabinet with all the Autobot characters in their base and things like this, and then on the other side I had a slightly smaller bedside table cabinet, whatever you want to call it, bedside table with the Decepticon base, Gut Crunch, and all those, and that had 2 levels on it. So you had almost like Megatron and Soundwave and stuff at the top there, and Shockwave and Gut Cruncher, and then you had some all the other ones underneath, like Starscream, Thundercracker, and all those guys, Treadshot, Croc, and all those. I think it's Croc, and all those guys down there with all the figures, not figures, vehicles and stuff like that down there. And then they'd often like meet in the middle and have a battle and things like this. So I think that's probably, they weren't particularly brilliant figures, the Action Master ones, but that's what I remember them more playing with them than probably the Generation 1 figures, probably because of the time that I was out collecting them. I was probably, I don't know, maybe young teen, I don't know, 13, if I was that old, I'm not sure. So that's my, oh no, I missed out my last one. Last one I put on here is Metroplex. So again, another Christmas present. I remember getting this guy, and the playability was amazing because he had the 3 modes. He had Scamper that came with him. He then had all these other like little guns and stuff like this, which you could form to, I think he's called 6 guns or whatever he's called, to form another figure. And it was just really cool. You could have the ramp and you push him out of the ramp and little things like that. And Again, if he was bigger, it would have been even better. But that's why they've got the Generations Metroplex, and that's why that figure's really good as well. And that's probably on my other top 10 list. I think that's it. I mean, there's loads ones that I could have added that I didn't. I just kind of went through the list a little bit. But I hope that's okay. Let me know what you think. I'll probably do another top 10 as well, and I'll do top 10 at my current collection. I did actually find that really hard because I did top 10 in my current collection, and I ended up nearly all doing kind of like going back and like doing Beast Wars and things like this, and I didn't pick actually many Generation figures the top 10 out of my current display, even though there's some brilliant figures like Springer, Sandstorm. I really like Blitzwing and Double Dealer, Metroplex, not to mention Roadbuster and Skybite and Starscream. Starscream is probably one of my favourites actually. That's it. Anyway, I'll stop now before the video gets too long. That's my top 10. I forget what I called it now. 10 bots that got away. Let me know what you think, and if you want to post your top 10 bots that got away, let me know. Cheers, bye.